Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson here from ZeldaDungeon.net, and you are watching my video walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass for the Nintendo DS. In the last video, we completed the second portion of the Temple of the Ocean King and got the Northwestern Sea Chart. Now we can't actually make our way to the Northwestern Quadrant just yet. There's a storm blocking the way, but also there's some rocks in the way on the far left side of the Southwestern chart, which is where we're at right now. So we can't actually make our way through there. Now, once you approach Linebeck's ship, there is a dude on the docks who asked if you have a cannon. And he mentions, if you talk with him, that that is how you can break rocks in the ocean. So there is rocks blocking part of the Southwest Quadrant, which is where we're at right now, and we need a cannon to blast through that. And that is actually our next objective. Linebeck, on the other hand, is really pushy about wanting to go to this quadrant, this new one that we unlocked. And so he mentions that it's covered in dust and he wants you to blow on it. So he'll hand the chart to you, and what you're supposed to do is blow on it into your DS microphone. And same thing on your Wii U gamepad if you have this on the Wii U Virtual Console. You can just blow into the microphone there. Now, if it's being a little stuttery, it's probably because, like I saw, it's probably because you're in a vehicle, so a car or an airplane or maybe even a train, I guess. Otherwise, just having a lot of electronics nearby. I find that the DS microphone works a little bit better when you're in a quieter environment. Just bear that in mind. Doesn't really matter so much right now. It will be important when we're talking with Eddo here soon, and you'll see what I mean here in a moment. Anyways, so Linebeck then is just really pushing. He's like, hey, you should totally go to the Northwest Quadrant, and you can't do that. If you do, it'll just like teleport you back to the Southwest. So just ignore Linebeck's advice entirely. What we need is a cannon, and if you explored in the Southwest Quadrant, you would have noticed that there is another island that is called Cannon Island. Now, earlier we couldn't do anything with it. You could have gone there, but you couldn't do anything. But now that we need a cannon, it's pretty obvious that that's where we need to go. So ignore Linebeck entirely. Go to Cannon Island. So once you arrive at Cannon Island, you can head south and you'll be introduced to the Postman. And this new character will appear whenever you see a bouncing post box. You walk up to it and the Postman will fly in and pull a letter out of his satchel. He'll read it to you, make silly observations about it, and then put the letter back in his satchel and fly off, which is very strange. I've never seen a Postman do that before, but this guy does it apparently. It is rather humorous though because of all the interactions, but he's a fun character. So after you've met up with him, then enter the door to the right where you can meet up with Fuzo, who is the apprentice of Eddo, the cannon maker, and that is the guy we're actually trying to talk to. But anyways, we can't quite get to Eddo just yet. So talk with Fuzo, and he'll unlock the door to the left so that we can continue on with this island. I like Fuzo's suspenders and his shirt. They have like bear pictures on them. I find it kind of amusing. Continuing on though, up ahead there is some enemies and there's a sign here that talks about fortune being amidst the beehives. And I'm pretty sure that's just talking about the treasure chest up ahead. The beehives themselves don't do anything. Like Like if you smack the beehives, they don't lead to treasure. So grab this chest off to the right and it leads to a treasure map. Now treasure maps will be used to collect sunken treasure later. We can't actually do anything with that just yet, but it is something that we will use at a later date. You can smack the beehives if you want. I'm just showing what happens when you smack them. And once they finally fall down, then a whole bunch of bees pop out. To deal with bees, the easiest way to deal with them is to use a spin attack. You can also roll or jump in the water and stuff too, but it isn't as effective. Spin attacks in this game are the way to go. Work your way to the far south where there is a cave that leads to the bomb garden. Inside the cave, we have some rats to deal with, so you can use your sword, but you can also use the boomerang. Simply use the item button and then just tap on the screen to make it fly out instantly. Boomerangs will actually kill rats with a single hit, as opposed to stunning them, which is actually kind of neat. We now have bomb flowers, so pick that up and use it to blow up the cracked blocks. There's also another cracked block over here, just on the other side of the fence. Throw the bomb flower over the fence to blow up the cracked block, so now we can move that other block on our own. Now before you leave though and progress onward, you want to pick up another bomb flower and run to the far right, and you should have just enough time to throw it near this cracked wall. Enter the small room here to find a power gem. So as long as you blew up the cracked block that was on the other side of the fence, we can now move this block as well. The second block, though, you need to move it out of the way entirely, so you need to pull it out this ways so that you have enough room to maneuver up north with that final block. Once you have those out of the way and you've killed the rats, you can then take a bomb flower north and use it to blow up the cracked wall up there. Alright, so welcome to the bomb garden, which is slightly terrifying. These bomb flowers will blow up very easily if you strike them with your sword on accident, and you can just ignore the rats. A couple different options is you can kill them with very well-placed boomerangs swipes, and you can just stand back a little bit, and if you hit the bomb flowers, it doesn't matter. You can also attack the bomb flowers from a distance. You can either use other bomb flowers to blow up nearby bomb flowers, and then that way it sends this cascading explosion. Continue on to the south by blowing up the cracked blocks along the way, and you'll get to a chest that contains 20 rupees, which is sweet. Continue on to the right and work your way up, just blowing up all the cracked blocks along the way and killing enemies and stuff like that. So once you get to this northern portion, you want to actually hop down and kill the remaining enemies there, as well as move the rocks that are down there too. So once you've moved them all out of the way and killed all of the choo-choos in this path, you'll notice that there's some cracked blocks that are there to the north on the other side of the fence. And so what we need to do is we need to actually bring a bomb flower to the fence and throw a bomb flower over it so that we can blow up those cracked blocks. But in order to do that, we need enemies out of the way. So that was the reason I had you kill all that stuff and move the rocks. So circle around to the south, and then you can bring a bomb flower over there to blow it up. Before you move on, you will notice that I have an X on the map, and this is indicating the location of a tree that has a secret. You want to stand on the land to the far top right, and then roll to the bottom left by drawing circles on your screen, on the edges of the screen, and roll into the right side of the tree. This will make a rupee fall on the left side of the tree that is worth 200, which is awesome. That is such a big boost here early in the game, so you definitely want to get that. However, if you accidentally hit the left side of the tree, then the rupee will fall to the right side of the tree, which makes it fall in the water, and you can never get it again, which is super aggravating. And I've had this happen to me many times on previous playthroughs of Phantom Hourglass, and I was like bound and determined, like, I'm going to figure this out. So I actually saved right before this, and then I'd run all the way over here, record myself bonking into the tree, and then I'd load my game, and I'd run all the way here and do it again. So I did this several times and recorded it repeatedly so that I had a record of it, and I could really analyze it and see what it is. And that's what I determined. The side of the tree you roll into makes the rupee appear on the other side. Something funny, though, that I noticed in the midst of doing that was that one of those recordings I actually rolled into the left side of the tree, but I, continued rolling off to the right, and I jumped off the ledge, and I think it's just because I was in midair and the rupee was in midair, but I managed to grab the rupee, and when I landed back on the land, which was funny. It was so amusing. Like, I wouldn't try that, obviously, but that's what I found, was standing in the top right and rolling to the right side of the tree is what caused the rupee to successfully be able to get it. So, I hope you appreciate all my hard work. It was aggravating me, so I did it. So after you've done all that, go ahead and circle around to the north side of the fence this time, and then continue on to the right now that those cracked blocks are not in the way, and you can make your way to the right doorway of Eddo's garage. Inside, speak with Eddo, who is a goofy character who is an inventor, and he makes all kinds of funny things, but he has some rather humorous conversation in which he is talking about how the cannon is so awesome, and it's going to be really expensive, and there's no way that a kid like you could afford it. And he finally, hesitantly, with much drama, unveils the price, which is actually just 50 rupees. And he's absolutely convinced that you could not afford that, but you totally can. And once you do, then he's just like, what? Seriously? How can you do this, kid? You're loaded. It's just 50 rupees. So you clearly have enough, especially if you got that big red rupee with me just a moment ago. But this gives you the cannon. Congratulations. Now we can finally break our way through rocks. And now we finally also have access to the doorway on the left, so we have a shortcut just to get straight to Eddo. We don't have to go through the whole island again. So Eddo also mentions that he is working on a salvage arm, and we will come back to purchase that later. He doesn't actually have it available yet, but we will do that. Continue on through the doorway off to the left, which is now finally open, now that we've taken the longest possible path ever to get to Eddo. And outside you can talk with Fuzo if you like, and go out the door, and we now have a letter from the postmaster who is talking about our new postman. The postman also makes you sign your name here, and he also makes you sign your name at the end of the game, or like reconfirm it, or you can rewrite it at the end of the game. And I know that it displays it during the credits, but other than that, I'm not sure that the signature serves any purpose at all. Like, it doesn't do anything. And I'm not sure why they even have it in the game. I think that the developers were just excited, like, we have a stylus, let's do all these things, let's do this! Maybe it was supposed to be part of another feature, or maybe it was originally going to be part of the multiplayer experience, like you could see the other person's signed name or something. I don't think you see it in multiplayer. I've played Phantom Hourglass multiplayer. It's been a lot of years now since I've done that, so I don't recall if it's in there or not. Anyways, I can't think of any particular reason why what the signature is used for, but if anybody watching this right now know what the purpose is of it, if you could let me know in the comments, I'd appreciate it. It is rather amusing seeing it at the end of the credits, though. It's like, oh yeah, there was a thing, and I did it so well. As soon as you get back to your boat, then Linebeck will talk about the cannon for a little bit, and he just mentions that you just tap on the screen to fire the cannon shots. It's actually very easy, significantly easier than the Wind Waker boat for sure, but you just tap on anything and you will attack it with the cannon. Up ahead we encounter a new enemy called a sea trap, which is just them training you how to use the cannon. Well, all you have to do is attack the two buoys on either side, and this will lower the spikes so that you don't take damage from it. But you can also just jump them. The little jump button appears at the bottom of your screen. You can press that at the right time to jump over the spikes. It's not that big a deal at all, and technically you could have actually found sea traps early if you had wandered around this whole Southwest Quadrant in general. You could have encountered sea traps much earlier than this. But generally speaking, this is the first time that people will see it. You can either jump them, and I totally failed for that second one. You can either jump them, or you can shoot both of the buoys. I actually think jumping is significantly easier. The timing is a little bit harder, but you have more time to, like, mentally prepare yourself, so to speak. Once you make it to this opening in the far left side of the map, you'll see that there's actually a bunch of giant rocks here, and what you want to do is just shoot them. They blow up instantaneously, so just blow all these up, and I think they actually come back if you don't kill all of them. So you do want to blow them all up. I would recommend that you blow them all up this first time that you're here. Like, if you need to, even stop or come back and make sure that you've blown them all up, because otherwise they'll just respawn when you come back. Now we can finally work our way through here to the left side, and that island just to the south is Molida Island, which is our destination. However, before you can make much progress, you will then see the ghost ship in the distance. Now, this is our primary mission objective, is to rescue Tetra from the ghost ship, and Linebeck suspects that there's treasure on the ghost ship as well. So, he wants you to chase it down, so you want to set a course to the north, and Linebeck will not leave you alone. We actually can't do anything with the ghost ship at all, we'll just get lost in the fog, but Linebeck will not let it go, so you have to do this, unfortunately. So just set a course north. It doesn't matter the position of the ghost ship or whatever, we're not going to be able to catch up to it anyways, but it wants you to go north of screen. So just follow it north, and just kill all the enemies enemies along the way, that's really what you got to pay attention to, is all the barrels and stuff like that. And you'll quickly enter some fog, which makes things a little bit harder to seize. But just pay attention to enemies on your map and in front of you, and just defeat them so that you don't take any damage. So once you finally get lost in the fog, you'll appear back south, and Lineback will be like, oh, I guess we can't do that after all. So we will be able to navigate the fog and chase down the ghost ship at a later date. We just can't do anything with him right now. So keep going straight south until you get to Molida Island. And that is our next objective. You could optionally also go to Spirit Island, which is even further south in the far bottom left corner of the map. It's in between those 3 rocks right there. It's not on your map right now. Once you get close, the island will appear on your map, and you can go to it. But there's nothing we can really do there right now, so I will be covering that later in the walkthrough. Once you arrive on Molida Island, Lineback will express frustration about not being able to navigate through the fog, and he's at a total loss as to what to do. But if you talk with the people here on Molida Island, you'll find out that they actually know a dude who supposedly made it through the fog, and he was just this adventurous sort who was constantly going on and on about it, and they thought he was kind of crazy, and he just wouldn't leave them alone. But he also ranted to his son about it quite a bit, and his son lives here. So if you go talk with Romanos, then maybe he could pass on some knowledge about how his father did this and navigated through the fog. So work your way to the right, and you will see this post box is bouncing around. This is an indication that we have a letter. Now this will, it's the next time you have a letter, just a post box somewhere will bounce around. So if you could technically get this on any other island too. It's just Molida is our next destination. So this is most likely when you are going to get the letter. This letter is from Astrid, and she's just saying, hey, by the way, if you ever get stuck, you can come to my island and I will give you a free fortune. And so she'll tell you where to go next. Now, the next time you do this, actually, and this is part of the reason why you're getting this letter, is because the next time you do this after receiving this letter, she will give you a wisdom gem. Now, we don't actually have to go back to the Isle of Ember for a while, so I'm actually going to wait a little while to do that. But just know that there is a wisdom gem there for you to get. But you have to actually tell her to give you a fortune. She doesn't just like come right out and be like, hey, how's it going? Here, have a wisdom gem. You have to actually tell her to give you a fortune first. If you enter the middle southern house, there's a chest in here that contains a treasure. So go ahead and grab that, then continue on to the top right house, which is Romanos' house. So once you finally enter the house, you can go talk with the lovely gentleman over to the right with the pear-shaped head, and his name is Romanos. And as you ask him about the Isle of Gust, he will then ask you, oh, you don't want to go your own way, do you? If you ask him what he means by that, then he'll give you a vague explanation and then just stop talking to you, and you have to talk to him again. But if you say yes, or you talk to him again and then say yes this time, then he'll yell at you and scold you and tell you that you're irresponsible and all this stuff, and then he'll just end the conversation super abruptly and be like, I'm not talking to you. So if you try to leave at that point, then he'll call out to you and apologize and make you talk to him again, which is what you have to do. And he explains that apparently his father used to talk to him about adventuring all the time and just over and over and over again. And finally he decided that adventuring was more important than his family, so he just left to go on an adventure, and they'd never seen him since. They don't know if he's dead, they don't know what's going on, but regardless of that, he's just super hurt by all that, and he hates adventurers now because of that. And that's why he was yelling at you. So, wow, we kind of got caught in the middle of a bunch of family drama. So much soap. Romanos explains that his dad knew of a secret way through the fog, and that was how he was able to successfully do it. However, his dad's not around anymore, but he does have this cave right behind the house that supposedly led to his hideaway. So if you can find the hideaway, then maybe you can find clues on how to get through the fog. Romanos' mother acts as a guard dog in front of the cave, and she will not let you enter until you've gotten permission from her son. Now, they both make a big stink about you being prepared to enter the cave, which I'm not really sure why they're making such a big deal about it. Although, I will say, we do fight a new enemy in here, which isn't that difficult in my opinion, but perhaps that could be a thing, and that's the reason why. So just make sure you're full on health, I guess. So I would slash the bushes here. You can just use some spin attacks or whatever to stock up on health. You can enter the house and come back out and slash some more until you're full. So once you're full on health, go ahead and enter the cave. Work your way past these red choo-choos and then go up the ledge. There's some keys here, and you can just ignore them. However, they tend to knock me into the water, so I like to take care of them. You want to use either long paths with the boomerang or quick short paths just by tapping on the screen with it. You can also just use side slashes just over and over again and then let the keys bonk into you, and they'll die that way. Hop down to the far right, and we'll encounter a new enemy called a Zora Warrior. And let's assume this is why they were talking about being prepared for this. They're invulnerable from the front because they have the shield, so what you want to do is dodge their fireballs very expertly, like so, and then use the boomerang to stun them from behind. in between their attacks. Once they're vulnerable, you can sneak around to their backside and then just hack away at them, and they die actually quite easily once you've stunned them. And they always drop 20 rupees. I do like to stand on them, like they're like keel over, and I like to stand on them right then, so then when the red rupee appears that I collected immediately. Anyway, defeating that guy will open the door up ahead, so continue on to the north. So after navigating the northern passage and coming out on the left side, you will find a bomb flower. So use that on the cracked wall just to the left, and you can defeat the keys here if you want. And there is also a shortcut to the south, but I'll get the shortcut here in a little bit. Enter the room and you'll see a journal on the table, which is written by Romanus' dad. And he explains that this is his hideaway, and it's his secret place where he goes to get away from people. However, he has an even more secret hideaway, and then he proceeds to tell you the secret on how to find it. That doesn't seem like a very good plan. But anyway, how you do that is you mark the locations of all of his stone tablets that he's placed scattered throughout the island. If you mark them all and then draw lines between them, then wherever the paths cross, that is the entrance to his other hideaway. Open the chest here behind that to find the shovel, which is a new item, and yes, it is as awesome as it sounds. You can use the shovel to dig up soft soil locations in particular, and you'll see that there's this little discolored patch of soil right here, which is one of those soft soil locations I was just talking about. Keep an eye out throughout your travels for these because they often have goodies inside them. This one has 100 rupees, which is sweet. There's actually one more inside this cave too, so go ahead and exit this doorway right here, and then use the bomb flowers to blow up the cracked blocks to the south, and then work your way back to where we fought the Zora just over to the right. Doing so will allow you to find another soft soil location, so go ahead and dig that up, then continue on to the north, and this time go back to the left and up the stairs. I'm going to fast forward through most of this. The Wayfarer's notes are like okay, but they don't really tell you anything you didn't already know. It's like, hey, the Isle of Gus has the Temple of Wind, which is like okay. I mean, it kind of figures. We knew we were heading there for one of the spirits anyway, so that's not really news. Stuff like that. So I'm going to just mark these all real quick and fast forward through all this. The one thing of note, though, is that just below Romanos' house, there is another soft soil location that has another 100 rupees. It's kind of crazy. We just found 3 soft soil locations. We have 300 rupees from all that, which is pretty great early on, honestly. So earlier I also opened a chest. It's in the second house out of 4 in the middle there on the bottom, and that one contains a chest containing treasure. So I got that earlier in the video, but if you didn't yet, you might want to check that out real quick and grab that. Now I'm going to use my map and connect all of the tablets and draw lines between them and then erase my lines just so that we have just the X that marks the spot. So this it leads to a tree, and that is where the Wayfarer's second hideout is. So if you stand there and dig right below that tree, this will take you to the hideout. Once you finally enter the second hideout, you can optionally read the journal on the table. It doesn't matter though, you can just skip this part entirely. So there is a treasure chest in the corner that contains a treasure map. Now each treasure map leads to different treasure that you can get. If you don't really want to do all that, it's kind of whatever, but I would recommend you get this one at least because it leads to some Sand of Hours, which increases the time that you have in the Temple of the Ocean King. So that's a very nice little thing. I mean, it's just a little bit, but each one of those you get, they all add up significantly. The map on the wall here also has the path to get through the fog. At long last, we finally have what we need to continue on. Continuing onward, there is some yellow choo-choos along the way. You want to make sure you stun them with a boomerang or something, or just sneak past them. But up ahead there is a doorway that has a sun symbol on it, and so Ciela points it out and suggests that you actually write that symbol on your map. Now, there isn't any particular reason to write it per se, other than just a reminder, so that every time you come to Molida, you think about it, or you can draw it on your sea chart, whatever you want to do. But the point is just that you remember to come back here when you have found something that has a sun symbol. So if you find something like that, then you want to come back here to this door. Okay, so we have acquired the shovel, the treasure map, all of those rupees from the soft soil locations, and the directions to get through the fog. So with all those things, we have everything we can get from Molida for now. So go back to Linebeck and set sail due north. And you can't go north into the Northwest Quadrant from north of Merkay. That doesn't work. You have to go north of Molida, which is where we're at right now. So due north, go through the fog, and once you get to the Northwest Quadrant, then just follow the path that you drew on your map from the Wayfarer's Hideout, so draw that whole path all out, weaving around the rocks, and then set down your wind-up toy, and then just watch for enemies. So just watch out for enemies along the way, and breaking the explosive barrels. And that's pretty much all there is to this section. I'm just going to fast forward through all this. There's really nothing to say. You just defend stuff and then just wait. Alright, that's pretty much the end of this video, folks. We're going to wrap this up. In the following video, I'm going to actually tackle the fishing side quest. In the Northwest Quadrant, there's a ton of stuff we can do, but in particular, fishing. I honestly feel like a lot of the guides online don't really do fishing justice, and people, after reading those guides, are still confused, and I feel like that is unacceptable. So I'm going to do a really in-depth fishing guide to really help you guys so that there's no confusion at all, and you know exactly what to do so you can get that heart container, because it's awesome. So that's going to be the following video, so join me for that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to throw a like on it, and then subscribe both to Zelda Dungeon and myself, and there'll be links to all of our various socials there in the description. So yeah, subscribe to both of us. It's awesome, more content that's the same. And as always, keep being awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.